Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Damic the Divine Practitioner. Today I will be showing you how to make a pain ointment or a ointment for arthritis or a ointment for aches. It's really good for pretty much any kind of pain that you can be having except for any oral pain like toothaches or anything like that. I'll be making another video on a ointment or a mouthwash you can actually make to help with toothaches. But today I'll be showing you how to make an ointment for like your hands, your joints, your knees, back, anything that can be aching and painful. So for the base, today I'm going to be using coconut oil. It absorbs into the skin really well, but it also has a really nice aroma, and it's natural. This company is a natural brand, so I'll be using coconut oil. I have rose essential oil because roses are very dominant in my magic, just as this rose petal. We'll be adding a rose petal in as well. So I got rose essential oil, lemongrass essential oil, eucalyptus essential oil, lavender essential oil, and cinnamon bark essential oil. So those are oils that I'll be going into it. I'll be adding in a garnet and a bloodstone, garnet for love and warmth attraction, the bloodstone for healing, and then I will be adding in some of the whole cloves. Cloves are actually really good for a lot of pain. One of the other YouTubers that I actually watch on here, Lady Grave Dancer, she talked about cloves and how they help with toothaches, and back in the old days she said that there was a lore where you would take a whole clove, put it right into your cavity, and just let it sit there. Now, that's actually very interesting. And she talked about how cloves go through the cycle of life too. They start out as like a real light, turn to a green, and a dark. And I thought that was really interesting because I thought they were always brown up until that point. And if you guys haven't seen any of her videos, you should go check her out. She's a really good practitioner on here. She makes wonderful videos. Her name is Lady Grave Dancer. She makes fantastic footage. And like I said, you're going to have one rose petal. And then you're going to want a container or a bottle of some kind. I actually have one of these like travel size shampoo bottles, which works perfect for this kind. It's like a lotion, kind of ointmenty, pasty kind of elixir is what we're making. I also have dragon's blood. It's really good for intention. It gives anything more oomph. And cinnamon stick, because cinnamon stick is going to help with the inflammatories. Anything inflammatory, cinnamon stick will help with. So it can be joints, bones, backache, it could even be headache. Drinking cinnamon tea is actually really good for you too if you have any problems with arthritis or any joint pains. Cinnamon tea would be something to look into. And then I have lavender powder that I ground up myself that I'll be adding in there. So first things first, you're going to want to take your base. I start with the base in this one because nothing really needs ground up. I'm going to leave everything whole. So, and it changes too, like some of my ointments I'll grind things up first, sometimes I'll leave them whole and then mix them, but this time I'm going to leave them whole and then mix them in after. So once again, I never do measurements with anything that I'm doing spell work wise or potion creating wise or ointment wise, nothing like that. I don't use any measurements. It's all off of how you feel and the container size that you're working with. That one's gone. Cool thing about this coconut oil too is you can get it from the Dollar Tree for $1. So not only is it natural and a really good base for a lot of ointments and oils, but it's cheap. Open this guy up. And the cool thing about coconut oil too is it's gonna like solidify itself once it gets into a dark, cool place. But as soon as you get it in your hands and start warming it up, it's gonna turn right back into a liquid. The smell is fantastic. If you like coconut, this is the ointment for you. So it's gonna smell like coconut. It's gonna smell like all of these essential oils. It's a really aromatic oil as well. It's going to be better than anything you can get at the store. Like, it'll be better than a Bengay, it'll be better than an Icy Hot. It'll have the same type of effect as both of those, but the smell will be phenomenal. You'll actually want to wear it instead of hate the smell of your pain ointment. So I got it here in my mortar and pestle. I do a lot of stuff in my mortar and pestle, so I'm just going to go ahead and mix it up with this spoon real quick. Just going to get it. And all of this stuff here on the side, these are all stains. You can tell this mortar and pestle has been used many, many times. So get that all start turning into a liquid now that it's been out of the container and warmed up a little bit. So if you guys have seen my last video on cloves, I like to add cloves 3 at a time per set. So I'll do 3 cloves, well 2 or 3. But for this one, I'm going to do 3 as well. So 1, 2, 3. And I'm not going to crush anything up yet. I'm just going to keep mixing it together. Just get everything added. But I like to do it separately because when you add things in separately, you're adding more intention instead of just dumping it all in at once and then mixing. So as you're mixing, put your intention into it. That's what I like to do. Every single ingredient that I add in, I put my intention in as I'm mixing it in. So that was one set of 3 cloves. So it'll be a total of 9 cloves, but I add them in sets and then mix, adding intention to those 3 cloves specifically each time. So 1, 2, and 3. Same thing, add your intention, mix them around, get it all in there. Make sure they're covered by the coconut oil. Next 3. 1, 2, 3. Alright, got the cloves in there. Now we're going to take our essential oils and I add them in at this point. So I'll add in the eucalyptus. This you want to be careful with. You don't want to add too many drops because eucalyptus is extremely powerful. You don't want too much of that smell, but you do want it for its healing properties, and the aroma will help as well with aromatherapy helps, but it also will help with the inflammatory as well as the cinnamon does. Just not too much. I did like 3 drops right there, and that's perfect. That's plenty. Same with the lemongrass. Don't overdo it with lemongrass either, because it's a very strong scent. You just want their healing properties and their aspects. And you want the aromas to blend. You don't want one to overpower the other. That's when headaches start happening instead of start getting resolved. Rose I save for last because that one's going to be a down one. Lavender I'll save for last as well. So cinnamon bark. This one, you don't have to be as careful, but still you want to make it balanced. So don't add too much of one or the other. Now that you got those 3, we'll save the last 2 for the end. Once you got cinnamon bark, eucalyptus, and lemongrass in there, go ahead and mix it all up. Get it all mixed together. And it already starts smelling fantastic. If you look at it, it doesn't look like much, but it will. It will be a lot. Alright. Now I'm gonna take some of the dragon's blood. You're not gonna crush any of this up yet. You're gonna do it at the end. All of it's gonna get mixed together. So this, no measurements. As always, I kind of go as I feel. Container-wise, size-wise. Dragon's blood is not also very good for healing, but it's also just a good any sort of spell work you're doing, dragon's blood can be put into it to give it more of a kick. more of a powerful hit, if you will. But dragon's blood is also very good for healing. That's why I'm adding it into the mix as well for the anti-inflammatory, for the pain relief. Back in the day, they would make a paste out of it and actually put it into cavities. Like, I can't remember if it's the early Aztecs or the Egyptians, one of the two. I get those two mixed up sometimes with certain information, but they would use dragon's blood and use it as like kind of like a toothpaste in a way. Because it's also good for infections. People would put it in their cuts and in their wounds to heal them and clear out bacteria. Now it'll just start looking a little bit like a lighter tan color. Everything's going to start blending together a little bit. You're going to want to take some of the cinnamon stick. And I don't use the cinnamon powder here because cinnamon powder can actually irritate your skin. You're trying not to irritate your skin. So I will take cinnamon stick, and you don't need very much. So I break off a couple of pieces. Just add them right into the mix. That should be plenty. Now you can go ahead and add the lavender and rose. And the last step that we'll do is the lavender powder, because this is one of the most important parts. So with the lavender oil, go ahead and add a generous amount. Lavender is really good for pain relief. It's good for joint aches. It's good for arthritis. It's good for anxiety as well. So not only is this good for pain, but if you're having anxiety issues, panic attacks, put a little bit of this right underneath your jawline. Let me see if I can show you here. Right underneath your jawline there. If you put it right there or right by your temple, it helps a lot with panic attacks and anxiety. Also on your wrists. You can also put it behind the ears. You can put it close to the eyes. You don't want to get it in your eyes because that might sting, but you want to get it really close to the corner of your eyes if you're having one of those like technical computer headaches. Add the rose in here. Then we'll take the rose petal, add the rose petal in there. Once again, like I said on my last video, I like to do a lot by my hands, so a lot of the stuff that I do will be hand ground, hand torn. This was ground up within a blender because if you've worked with lavender before, you know it's really hard to grind lavender unless you put in hours and hours of elbow grease. And my joints don't have that. That's why I actually know how to make this ointment, because my bones and joints aren't the best, so things like that tend to wear and tear at me a lot. So sometimes I have to use newer means of technology, but when I can, I will use my hands as much as possible. So we got the rose petal in. Now we're going to take some of the lavender powder, add that in. You want to add a decent amount, maybe 1 or 2 pinches. But you don't want to add too much though, because then it will become too pasty. You still want it to be able to turn into that nice, like, liquidy, lotiony stage, because for me, it's going in this travel size shampoo bottle, but it works perfect for a lotion container as well. So that's what I'm putting it in. If you're putting it in anything else, like just an open lid container, then you can take it out with your fingers. It'll turn into a liquid anyway once it's heated up and worked with in your hands a little bit. But I want it to be able to get nice and liquefied, so it'll squeeze right out of this bottle. Now that we got the powder in there, I'm going to sort out the crystals that I need. So I need a bloodstone, garnet, once again, bloodstone for healing, garnet for love and absorbing that warmth and passion from In this case, the passion is going to be the abundance of lavender, the help that lavender gives for pain relief and anxiety relief and stress relief. See, and I also believe in following your intuition and your gut when it comes to magic. This emerald here was with the other pile of stones, and I set the garnet and the bloodstone aside already. This emerald flew over to those, so I'm also going to add that in there because I feel like somebody out there is telling me I need to add this as well. Things like that. Don't ignore small things like that. Sometimes those can make some of the biggest differences in your craft. So these guys I'm not actually going to add to the mix. I'm going to put in the bottle because I want to make sure they actually get into the bottle. Because I don't know if all of this is going to fit. I'm going to have to get another container for that. But for the main one, I want to make sure that they're in the bottom of the bottle. Now that everything is actually in the mortar and pestle, this is when you're going to have to put in a little bit of work because it's all in there now. You want to go in and grind up any of the hard pieces. Since everything has been entered in with its own intention, now you're going to want to go back over and mix it all together with one final intention. So in this case, depending on what you want to make it for, you can make it for universal pain, or if you do have arthritis, you can use it for arthritis. My mom actually has MS, multiple sclerosis, so I would use it for that reason. For stuff like that, so you use it to your purpose, but this is the general basics of a pain ointment recipe that you can follow, and it works fantastically for so many different types of pains. And this is totally optional, up to you. This is something that I would do because I believe in natural medicines. My family is very strong on natural medicines. My grandma actually grew up in Thailand, so she not only practices what you would say Wiccan or witchcraft aspects and means, but she practices Asian shamanism and Asian medicine working. So I highly believe in natural medicines and their natural abilities, so I would put this even on a small cut or a small wound that I would have. I would put it on, put a bandage over it, let it sit for a couple hours, or if I'm going to bed, let it sit overnight, take it off, wash it off. And all of these ingredients in here are natural, and most of these are going to be anti-inflammatory and antibacterial, like antiseptic. Like the cinnamon stick, for example, is for sure antiseptic. The dragon's blood is antiseptic. Eucalyptus is inflammatory. Cinnamon bark is antiseptic and inflammatory. Rose is going to be good for protection, so it's going to be a blocker against other types of bacteria. So yeah, it's just a really good ointment for that purpose. Alright, now that I got it all blended up, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what it looks like, because it's actually a very beautiful ointment as well. So that's it. I'll get it into the bottle here, and then I will show you guys what it looks like afterwards. So I will see you guys then. Now that you got it in your container, this is what it's going to look like. Let me see if I can get a better lighting picture here. Let's lighter out. It's a nice, like, sandy look. It's got a little bit of the green because of the lavender, but it's a very sandy type look. But this is the ointment that you'll be done with once you finish the recipe. And like I said, it works for a lot of different purposes. This can be used on a lot of different things. So just make sure you use the intention for pain. Once again, depending on what type of pain you're going for, this can be used on arthritis, MS. This can be used for cancer patients to help with pain. I'm not saying this will cure cancer, definitely won't. I'm not a doctor, not a scientist, but this will help with certain pains from cancer. This will also help with anxiety, like I said, and stress relief. So this ointment is very good all around for the general aspect of pain. So you can make it to how you want it, but this is the basic recipe for a pain ointment. Yeah, so thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope to see you at the next one. Recipe.